everyone, this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? I'm doing this video, it's Tuesday afternoon, and I decided to do this video now, and I'm going to probably put it up maybe Thursday morning, Holy Thursday, because I don't think I'm going to make another video till the weekend after this coming weekend. Like, it's going to be a little while. So I thought that I would do a quick update and then plans for April and other things. So I'm going to try and make it quick because I think I'm trying to cover a lot of territory. So let's see. So let me get started. So there's no place like Rome. So right now, I organized all these books and then I don't know what I'm doing with them. Let's see. Right now, for There's No Place Like Rome, I'm in the middle of the fourth mystery in the Medicus Ruth Downey, written by Ruth Downey series, where we follow Medicus, what's his name, Gaius Petronius Rousseau, and his now wife, Tilla, that's a spoiler, who is Britain, a native of Britain, and it's in the reign of Hadrian, and they're just wonderful. I love them. I read one in February, and then I've read two so far in March, and I'm probably going to finish this one before the end of March. And so that's my March Mystery Madness. I also read The Body in the Library, which is over there, by Agatha Christie. So I kind of participated in March Mystery Madness the most, more than I usually do, because I'll have read 4 mysteries, and that's pretty good for me. So yeah, so that's really fun. That's been a very fun aspect of There's No Place Like Rome, reading these detective, or whatever you call it, crime fiction set in ancient Roman Britain. Highly recommend the series. And then I'm also reading, and this is going to take me a while, because it's just going to, I'm slower with nonfiction, and then 2 things are going on. I went to the eye doctors and I need prescription glasses again, and so I'm waiting for that. But I was wondering why it was such a strain on my eyes to be reading. And the other thing is we're having a lot of work done on the house, and it's just been chaotic. And I'm off my usual, pattern of how I do things in many ways. And on top of that, my beautiful little grandson, who's 2, is now truly 2. And he has just become a handful. And so I'm just physically tired. So I'm tired. Life is kind of topsy-turvy. My eyes are strained when I'm trying to read, especially from this book, which I am loving. It's Rubicon. I'm thoroughly enjoying it so much. But look at that. Look at that print. It's just small. It's just taking me a while to read it. So I'm going to be reading this into April, and I'm just going to accept that. But I am thoroughly enjoying it. And then the other book that I'm reading, the nonfiction for There's No Place Like Rome, is Paul. And this is a nice hardback, so I've just been sticking in, little, what do you call those? You know what I mean. I'll show you instead of saying it. And I'm really enjoying that too. But again, I mean, this is bigger print, but I'm just pretty slow. I'm just slow at nonfiction, and I just having trouble focusing. So both these nonfictions for There's No Place Like Rome are going to continue into April, and I'm just going to accept that as my reality right now. The things that have kind of fallen off the radar mostly because of the work going on in the house, because I couldn't have access to, they came in and they covered everything up while they were painting and wallpapering and stuff, and I just didn't have access to certain things. So Horace, I did dig out Horace, but I was really enthusiastic about Horace the first couple of weeks. It's fallen away. I hope I'll read a little bit more before the end of March. And then well, let's see. Do I want to say anything else about my current reads? What other current read do I have? Oh, okay. Everything's just tied together with these readathons. I did read the Penderwicks for March Mystery Madness. So I did participate in not March Mystery Madness, Middle Grade March. I did participate at least with one book. I thought I was going to, at the beginning of the year, I wanted to read the whole Penderwick series, and I just got sidetracked. I sidetracked myself. So, but I'm glad I got one in. I'm really glad I read this one. I read my Nancy Drew, which I don't have here. So I did that stuff. And then this weekend, we had a really nice live discussion about The Long Loneliness by Dorothy Day. So I just recently finished that up. And the other books I'm reading besides the Rome mystery and the Rome nonfiction is this book, The Comfort of Crows. And this goes into another readathon that I just found out about. It's a year-long thing, so I think you're supposed to read a book a month. It's called Climathon, and it's about the environment. And I saw this at Triumphal Reads, but I guess I should link to the originator of. I was not familiar with that channel, who originated it. And apparently it's been going on for a while. But I love nature reading, and I have my own thing every July. I do a Sustainability July, pretty much just for myself, but sometimes people join me. And so I'm very concerned with the environment, but not from a secular point of view, because I'm a believer. I believe in a creator, and the earth, all that's been created is a gift from God, and we are called to be stewards of this. We're supposed to take care of these precious gifts that allow life to exist. And so I'm concerned with the environment very much, and I love nature. I love gardening. I love all that kind of stuff. So, and this book I got from someone in a Kate Howe's exchange for Valentine's Day. And so I'm reading through it. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to catch up because I just started to really read it, and it starts in the winter, and it says winter week 1. So I'm trying to catch up. I'm up to I think week 8. I'm writing it. I'm enjoying it pretty much. Sometimes I enjoy. They're short essays, and some essays I'm enjoying more than others. She's a little bit, I don't know, melodramatic sometimes. But look at this gorgeous art in it. It's really, really lovely. So anyway, I want to catch up so that I'm on the right week. So that's something I'm trying to do right now. And I have a bunch of books to show you for Climathon. But let's see. So that was my current reads. Oh, and one thing I wanted to, one reason why I wanted to put this up for on Holy Thursday is sort of a meshing of Holy Week and There's No Place Like Rome. The Pope does the Stations of the Cross in the Colosseum, or right next to the Colosseum, with the Colosseum in the background. So it's the Via Dolorosa. Am I saying that right? So the Way of the Cross, or the Stations of the Cross, and you can find it on the internet. I think it's starting at 4:15 Rome time, so 4:15 a.m. And I just get up for it on Good Friday to see it, or if I can't make that, then I'll watch it, record it. But anyway, I'd like to do that, and that'll be neat to see the background of the backdrop of ancient Rome, and then, you know, repeating this very Roman story of a crucifixion, and praying that on Good Friday. So yeah, so I'll put this. I don't know if I want to link. I guess I can link to other YouTube channels. So I'll link to YouTube channels that are going to either have it live or will record it. Let me take a sip of tea here. Okay, so that's pretty much There's No Place Like Rome. So what's going on in April? So first of all, there's the next Nancy Drew, The Clue in the Diary. So I'm looking forward to that. And then for There's No Place Like Rome, I'm still on track to focus on Catullus. Oh, the other thing that fell by the wayside with all the work going on was my Latin studies. So maybe I can revive them in April. We'll see. But anyway, the student's Catullus, that's what I'm going, the next poet, and I'm going to have to, we'll see how we do this. Yeah, this might be a real challenge because this is all in Latin, and I don't know if I'm up to translating much there. So I might have to go online and find him. and then compare and see. Even if I just work through one little poem, it'll be something. So yeah, so Catullus, and then I'm going to read Plautus, Terence, and Seneca. I'm looking forward to that. And those are plays, so they don't take so long to read. So I feel like I'll be freed up more to maybe really focus on Rubicon and Paul. And then I'm finding out about all these April readathons that I did not know about. So first of all, there's People April, which I had heard about and I've just forgotten about. And then there's something called Picture This, which celebrates picture books. And then there is, what was the other one? TBR Clear Out, which is Katie at Books and Things. So you find books that have, unread books on your shelf and you try to read them. And she has prompts and stuff like that. So this will overlap with the TBR Clear Out and There's No Place Like Rome, since I didn't get it read for middle grade March. And that's this book, Augustus Caesar's World. This has been sitting on my shelf for, over a decade. And I've never read it all the way through. I've only glanced through it and read little chunks of it. So I'm going to read this. That's my vow. And that'll overlap with that. And then another couple of things that will overlap. And this, I think, fits in with the Picture This, which is a celebration of picture books. And I will link to those, to the announcement for that as well. But I got this darling book, The Magic Fishbone. It's based on a Charles Dickens story. And the illustrator is Louis Slobodkin. And he's so familiar. I know that he was a popular children's illustrator, back in the 50s and 60s or something. So I really want to read this. So I'm going to read this for the Picture This marathon, or readathon. And then I also have a copy of this that I have not read. And this is Dalier's Book of Norse Myths. And this also has absolutely exquisite illustrations. So I think I'm going to read that as well. Because in April, Historathon is moving on to its next quarter. And I have plans for that. I'm going to stick with ancient Rome for my literature. And of course, I'm still going to be reading Rubicon and Paul because I didn't finish them in March. But I also wanted to move on to sort of more Middle Ages type stuff, like the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons. So there's going to be an overlap there. All right, and then there's People April. And People April is also going to overlap a little bit with There's No Place Like Rome, because I actually started to read some of Cicero, but Cicero's selected works. I think I can read some of this anyway. Second Philippic against Antony. Correspondence, there's some of his correspondences. Against Verres. On duties, his essay on duties, on old age. So I think I can pick some stuff out of this. And this will be There's No Place Like Rome and People April. Then, what was the other thing I wanted to do? Oh, and then there's this book, The Cruise of the Snark, which also would be TBR Clear Out. So with this, because these are books that have been sitting on my shelves for a while. This one's newer. But The Cruise of the Snark, this is his memoirs, or he kept records. I think it's memoir, maybe it would be that. But he tried to sail around the world. I'm not sure if he made it all the way, but his travels. So a Pacific Traverse. One was about the lepers of... Hey, where is that? Okay, I'm not sure. I had an alarm go off, and I'm not sure if that interrupted the video or not. Oh, it did, so I'm just going to splice them together. Okay, anyway, I was talking about Jack London and The Cruise of the Snark, and that would go with People April. I think that would just be really interesting to read. And then another People April could be The Hound and the Falcon. This is a correspondence between Antonia White and a fan of her writing. I read Frost in May in January with the Faded Pages Book Club, and I loved it. And that was the first in a quartet, I think. I want to read the quartet, but it's a story about how she lost her faith. She was Catholic. Her father had converted, and she had converted as well as a child, and then she loses her faith. And they did some kind of a BBC series on it. But this is actually a correspondence between her and a fan who was Catholic, who she eventually reverts or reconverts. I think, what's the name of it? It says the story of the Hound and the Falcon, the story of a reconversion to the Catholic faith. So I'd like to read that one too, in People April. So this is kind of too much to read. I'm not going to get to all of this. And for some reason I have this, because it probably isn't going to happen in April. It'll probably be more like May. But I was going to focus on Alfred the Great for Historathon, because I'm getting ready to read G.K. Chesterton's The Ballot of the White Horse, which is an epic poem about the life of Alfred. And since I didn't know very much about Alfred, I thought maybe I should read more about him and he could be a focus for Historathon. And this was written by a contemporary, Astor's Life of King Alfred and Other Contemporary Sources. So yeah, so this is a new acquisition, but that's for later. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to go through, I feel like I'm talking fast and I'm trying not to take too long. I just want to get all this out. So this was going to overlap with the TBR Clear Out, and it's also going to overlap with Climathon, which is reading about the environment, all different aspects of the environment. And I have to put those 3 books aside because they are not part of the TBR Clear Out. So I have a lot of books on the environment that I would like to read. Been wanting to read this for ages. I'm going to get to it this year for Climathon. Climathon is all year, like Historathon. So I'm going to read that. I'm going to read this book, Reforesting Faith, which is a Christian perspective on the environment. I'm going to read, these are a collection of essays, The Glory of the Cosmos, which also a Catholic approach to the natural world, which I don't know if I'm going to agree with all of what they say, but it sounds really interesting to learn about. And then this is a collection of Wendell Berry essays that I just haven't read. And it's been like 4 years on my shelf. And so I really want to read it. Like, this is Home of the Free, 1978. I wonder how dated these are. But still, I'd like to dip into these for Climathon at some point during the year. And then I have this charming book, Eric Sloan's Almanac and Weather Forecaster. And this came out in, let me see when this came out. This is old, 1958. But this is great. It's just about weather. I mean, I think it'd be interesting to read because of climate change, and a lot of people are attributing really violent or erratic weather behavior to climate change. And it'll just be interesting to see, to read an older book on weather. I think, and I really love these sketches in here. So those are Climathon possibilities. That's for the whole year. And then my birthday's coming up, and I decided I wanted to buy books on the environment. And so I splurged because I really love this one publishing company called Chelsea Green Publishing. I don't agree with everything they publish, but they just have wonderful selection of books. So I bought myself 3 books for my birthday. So this one is The Lost Flock by Jane Cooper. And it's about a woman who moves to the Orkney Islands. And let's see, it says Rare Wool, Wild Isles, and one woman's journey to save Scotland's original sheep. So my sister and I are planning to go to the UK in 2025. And she loves Scotland. Like, that is her favorite place. She's been there several times. And after I read this book, I'm going to give this to her. It's got photos and everything. So this, looking forward to this one. Then this doesn't really have to do with the climate or stewardship, except it has to do with people, and I include people in stewardship of the earth. People count too, you know. And this was also published by Chelsea Green. And I'm very interested in labor history. Last year I tried so hard to read this long mammoth biography of Cesar Chavez. I never finished it, but I tried my best. And then The Long Loneliness by Dorothy Day has a lot about labor in it. There's a whole labor section. And then, of course, it made me think of my grandfather, who was a labor leader. So this book sounded really good because I think we need a new labor movement in the United States. So it's Wall Street's War on Workers, How Mass Layoffs and Greed Are Destroying the Working Class and What to Do About It. I just think it'd be really interesting to read and get that perspective, get his perspective. Yeah, so that's my labor history thing. And then this is, I've been wanting to read this for a while, ever since it came out, because I really think that the caring for God's creation is something that everybody can get behind, and it should not be divided along left and right or liberal and conservative, because it's our home. Okay, we have to take care of our home. If we care about our children and our grandchildren, we have to take care of our home. And so I think the polemical, you know, dynamite that's always going off, and we're really, you know, the media is just primed to exploit us and scare us and get us to donate to one party or the other. And it's not about people actually having conversations and trying to problem solve, right? And so I think we really need to do that. I want to put the conservative back into conservatives. And so this really appealed to me. Now, I don't know if I'm going to agree with everything, but I read the introduction by Joel Salatin, who's one of my heroes. Small Farm Republic, Why Conservatives Must Embrace Local Agriculture, Reject Climate Alarmism, and Lead an Environmental Revival. So I think, and I love the art on that cover. So I think that'll be a very interesting read. So that's like a little birthday present to myself. So I think I went through all these books. There's so many. I think I'm done. So I talked about There's No Place Like Rome. Oh, of course, also in April, we have April 21st is the birthday of the city of Rome, the founding of the city of Rome. And we're going to have a live stream. I have to figure that out. I have to figure out how we're going to work that. So all that's happening. And a lot of other stuff is happening in April too. So we will see. This is me dreaming big for April. Who knows what's really going to happen. But I'm excited about all these readathons. So the Climathon, even if I might not be completely aligned with the approach, I'm there for it. Of course, There's No Place Like Rome, and then People April, and Picture This, and TBR Clear Out. So yeah, so lots of fun, lots of plans for reading in April. All right, I hope you are doing well. I'm sorry that this got long and I interrupted it, and now I have to splice the two sections together. Anyway, take care and happy reading. And if you're Christian, have a blessed Easter.